You have been living your entire life thinking you're you, but what if there is no real you at all? A prince abandoned everything to uncover a truth so powerful it could end all suffering, but almost no one truly understands it. This is Buddhism, and it might completely change the way you see reality forever. The man who walked away from everything. It begins with a prince who had everything, and still felt empty. In ancient Nepal, around the 6th century BCE, a man named Siddhartha Gautama lived a life most people could only dream of. Surrounded by luxury, protected from pain, aging, and death, his world was carefully designed to keep him satisfied. But comfort has a limit. It can distract you from truth, but it can never erase it. One day, Siddhartha stepped outside that protected world. What he saw was not just shocking, it was irreversible. He saw sickness, aging, and death, and for the first time, he understood that suffering was not rare. It was universal. That realization didn't just disturb him, it changed the direction of his entire life. He began to question everything he had ever been taught about happiness and purpose. So he made a decision that most people could never make. He walked away from his palace, from his wealth, and even from his family. Not because he had nothing, but because he wanted to understand everything. He spent years searching for answers, trying extreme forms of self-denial and discipline. But none of it brought him the truth he was seeking. Until one night, sitting beneath a tree, he stopped searching outside and turned inward. By morning, he was no longer just Siddhartha. He had become the Buddha, the awakened one. The core of Buddhism. At its core, Buddhism is not about belief or blind faith. It is about understanding reality as it truly is. The Buddha taught that suffering is an unavoidable part of life, but not in the way people usually think. It is not just physical pain. It is the deeper sense of dissatisfaction that exists even when everything seems fine, that quiet feeling that something is missing, that things are not quite enough. This insight forms the foundation of Buddhist teaching. The Buddha explained that suffering exists, that it is caused by desire and attachment, that it can be ended, and that there is a path to end it. This path is not based on rituals or blind devotion. It is based on awareness, discipline, and understanding. It guides a person to think clearly, act ethically, and develop deep focus. What makes this teaching powerful is that it does not promise a perfect life. It does not say you will become rich, successful, or free from problems. Instead, it offers something much deeper: the possibility of becoming free from the need to chase anything at all. It is not about changing the world. It is about changing the way you experience it. Reincarnation and the endless cycle. In Buddhism, life does not end with death. Instead, it continues in a cycle known as samsara, a continuous loop of birth, death, and rebirth. Every action, every thought, and every intention creates karma, shaping what comes next. In this way, your current life is not random. It is connected to everything that came before it. But here is where Buddhism becomes deeply mysterious. Unlike many other belief systems, it teaches that there is no permanent self. There is no fixed soul that moves from one life to another. Instead, what we call a self is simply a collection of changing experiences, thoughts, and conditions. This creates a paradox that has fascinated thinkers for centuries. If there is no permanent identity, then what exactly continues after death? Some compare it to a flame lighting another candle. The flame continues, but it is not the same flame. Others describe it as a stream of consciousness, always changing yet somehow connected. But no explanation fully solves the mystery. It remains one of the most profound and unanswered questions within Buddhism. The state beyond everything, Nirvana. At the end of this cycle lies Nirvana, the ultimate goal of Buddhist practice. Nirvana is often described as a state beyond suffering, beyond desire, and beyond the cycle of rebirth itself. But describing it is where the difficulty begins. It is not happiness in the normal sense. It is not a place, and it is not even something that can be imagined easily. Ancient texts describe Nirvana as the unconditioned, meaning it is not created by anything and is not affected by time or change. It is complete freedom, but not the kind of freedom people usually think of. It is not about doing whatever you want. It is about no longer being controlled by desire, fear, or attachment. The mystery of nirvana lies in its nature. If it cannot be described, if it cannot be understood through thought, then how can anyone truly know it? Is it a real experience, or is it a concept pointing towards something beyond language? This question has remained open for thousands of years, inviting exploration rather than providing a final answer. Meditation. Unlocking the mind's hidden depths. Meditation is the central practice in Buddhism, but it is often misunderstood. It is not simply about relaxing or clearing the mind, it is about observing reality at its deepest level. Through meditation, practitioners learn to watch their thoughts, emotions, and sensations without reacting to them. Over time, this creates a level of awareness that most people never experience. Some advanced practitioners have demonstrated abilities that seem extraordinary. They can slow their heart rate, control their body temperature, and remain still for long periods. Modern science has begun studying these states and has found unusual patterns in brain activity. However, science is still far from fully understanding what is happening. Ancient Buddhist texts go even further, describing abilities known as siddhis. These include heightened perception and forms of awareness that seem almost impossible. Whether these are symbolic descriptions or real phenomena remains unclear. But they point to a deeper idea, that the human mind may have capabilities that we have not yet fully explored. The mystery of death and Tibetan monks. One of the most fascinating mysteries in Buddhism comes from Tibet, where certain monks are said to enter a state called tukdam. This is a form of deep meditation that continues even after clinical death. In this state, the body does not decompose in the way it normally would. It remains preserved for days, sometimes longer, with minimal signs of decay. Scientists have studied these cases, measuring physical changes and observing the bodies over time. Yet, they have not been able to provide a clear explanation. The phenomenon challenges conventional understanding of life and death. It raises questions about whether consciousness might persist in ways that are not yet understood by science. The Dalai Lama and the search for rebirth. Another enduring mystery in Buddhism is the tradition of the Dalai Lama. When a Dalai Lama dies, monks do not simply choose a successor. Instead, they search for a child believed to be his reincarnation. This process involves spiritual signs, visions, and a series of tests. The child is asked to identify objects that belong to the previous Dalai Lama, items they would have no normal way of recognizing. In some cases, children have successfully identified these objects, which believers see as evidence of rebirth. Critics, however, offer alternative explanations such as suggestion or coincidence. The truth remains uncertain, and the mystery continues. Buddhism and modern science, convergence or conflict. In recent years, Buddhism has attracted the attention of scientists and psychologists. Many of its teachings seem to align with modern discoveries, especially in the field of neuroscience. The idea that the self is not a fixed entity matches findings that the brain is constantly changing and does not contain a single center of identity. Meditation has also been shown to have measurable effects on the brain, improving focus, reducing stress, and enhancing emotional control. Practices derived from Buddhism, such as mindfulness, are now widely used in therapy around the world. Even thinkers like Albert Einstein showed interest in the philosophical aspects of Buddhism. However, while science can explain the benefits of these practices, it still struggles with deeper questions. It cannot fully explain consciousness or determine whether it can exist independently of the brain. In this way, Buddhism and science seem to meet at the surface, but diverge when it comes to the deeper mysteries. If this made you question reality even a little, then you're already thinking deeper than most people. There are many more hidden truths across religions and philosophies that we have not explored yet. If you want to be smarter every day, like and subscribe.